Hey, my name is Marika Van Andel and I'm an agronomic sales rep with Syngenta. And I'm here today just outside of Drumbo, Ontario to talk about the 5 things in soybeans that I think have been most interesting this year. And one is all the bugs that we've seen in soybeans. And early on, I would say there was more and more acres affected by seed corn maggot. And that's seed corn maggot is actually the maggot of a fly. And it's a little bit smaller than a house fly, and you'll see them buzzing around early in the morning. And they'll lay their eggs next to, in a field, especially a field that has decaying organic matter. And those maggots will then feed on those seedlings. And saw quite a bit of damage this year. And yeah, it's just on the rise as we have more fungicide-only acres. The other insect that I think has been of interest is bean leaf beetle, again controlled by the insecticide seed treatments that we've been using, controlling that overwintering population. And now we're seeing just a higher amount of that generation we see in July and August. And if they do enough feeding on the leaves, if you reach the threshold, we need to control those. And then finally, I guess on the bug side of things, well, there's lots of bugs, come to think of it, but Japanese beetles, lots and lots of Japanese beetles. So Japanese beetles, the grub of that, so they'll lay their eggs probably in this soybean field as well. And that grub can then be a problem the following year. So just something to pay attention to is the Japanese beetle pressure and the larvae or those grubs in the soil. Spider mites were a problem this year, and really the key thing is to control those spider mites early on and do a spray around the perimeter. That's the best way to protect your soybean crop against spider mites, is to scout early. As soon as you see a little bit of yellow stippling on the upper side of the soybean leaf, that's a really good indication that you have spider mites. You flip it over and you start to look a little bit more closely for those mites. But as soon as you see a little bit of stippling on top, that's an indication that you have those spider mites and it's time to go and spray. If you can see damage from the road as you're driving by, it's getting too late and they've probably moved further into the field and do get difficult to control. So what does this all mean for the 2019 season? What should we be looking at this fall? So certainly we got to open up those seed guides and understand the genetics that we're looking at, and what kind of resistance do we have against SDS and white mold and Phytophthora root rot. So genetics is key, and choosing that right variety for the right acre will really help move to that next level of growing a better soybean crop. And then the other thing is seed treatments. There's a lot more options available in the marketplace today than there used to be. Things like Apron Excel and Chloriva and Murtec. And new this fall is Fortenza on soybeans as well. And Fortenza is a non-neonic, no paperwork required, that has activity on below ground pests like seed corn maggot, like we talked about, also on European chafer and June beetle and wireworms. So it's going to be an excellent seed treatment available this fall, and definitely something to take a look at. So hopefully those are a couple tips and things that you can think about as you prepare for the 2019 growing season. And Syngenta reps are happy to help if you have any questions. We certainly do want to help you make the right decision for your farm to help you grow the best soybean crop that you can.